Hi everyone, welcome to Blarney Castle and Gardens, and for this week's episode we're going to be visiting the farm, and James will be talking about some of the things going on up there. I believe they're sheep shearing today, so that'll be interesting to see. But before we do go up there, there's a couple of things I wanted to update you on. One, I've been harping on about the wild garlic and how great it looks, so I thought the opening shot for today I'd show you just en masse right through our woodlands how it looks. And our native wild garlic this time of year, it's a stunner and it's hard to beat. So throughout our woodland walks, this is what you're looking at the moment, and it's beautiful. The bluebells are still out, they're starting to fade as well, but there's great colour around the gardens in general. Our plant of the week this week, I believe, is going to be foxglove, and I'm going to send you over to talk to Olive shortly about that. But that's another native species here in the gardens, and they've been bred and selected out to be different colour forms as well now, and I believe Olive's going to talk about a couple of the varieties that we're selling down in the plant sales area at our turnstiles. But before we do that, I wanted to just nip over and have a quick peek into our fern garden, so I'll see you there in a second. So welcome to the Fern Garden, and this is one of my favourite times of year here in the Fern Garden because it's the time when everything starts to get moving. The frosts have just really finished. There's still obviously a risk, but it's safe enough now to start moving out some of our less hardy varieties that have been up till this point stored over winter in the glasshouse. So over the next few days and over the last few days we've been moving out different varieties, planting them through. And in addition to that, the existing more hardy Dicksonia antarctica are all coming into new growth, so that all the fronds are unfurling. And I'm just going to pop down into the main garden area and show you a couple of the fronds because it's amazing to see. So I'll see you in a sec. So this is what I was talking about, these unfurling fronds, and it's almost like little question marks. But you can see this one's well along, but there's new ones still coming inside. If Paul wants to zoom in, I'll just show you one, because they're exquisite. They're little natural works of art in themselves. And you can see it's just this lovely little hairy frond emerging. And these things over the next month will expand and grow up to around 6 foot in size. This particular one, Dicksonia antarctica, this is what we commonly have throughout the Fern Garden and the gardens in general, and they hail from, I think, southeastern Australia, Tasmania, and they're hardy down to -5, -6 fairly easily. After that they need a bit of protection, but here in the woodland they get natural protection from the canopy of the trees, so it suits them perfectly. And just to put things in context, one of these tree ferns they reckon grows about 1 inch a year. So if you have a 6-7 foot tree fern, you're talking, it could be 100 years old. So there's great history in these things as well. So that's it from the Fern Garden. I think what we'll do is we'll pop over to Olive in the plant sales area, and she can talk you through Plant of the Week. And from there we'll pop down to the farm and have a good look around there. So we'll see you then.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Plant of the Week section. This week it's foxgloves featuring, so we have a lovely white foxglove for sale here in the plant sales area. It's called Digitalis albiflora. So you're going to notice a lot of Digitalis popping up all over the place throughout the gardens over the next couple of weeks. They flower in their 2nd year, but once you have them growing in the garden you'll have a plentiful supply forever because they seed themselves freely all over the place, and they're a lovely plant. Tall, so at the back of the border, good in a woodland setting. If the plants don't suit you, maybe you have an area that you'd like to sow a few wildflower seeds, we sell the seeds in the shop here as well, and they're saved from our own plants. We saved this one, Sutton's apricot, from the Poison Garden last year, a lovely pale purpley pink. And we will also have the native purple purpurea for sale coming into flower here in a couple more weeks as well. So get your Digitalis at the plant sales area. Over now to John on the farm, who's going to do a little bit on sheep shearing with you. All right, all the best. Bye.
Now this is myself and Declan. My name is John Delaney. I'm a shearer for 60 years, and we're shearing sheep here in Blarney for many years, and we look forward to it every year. It's the first shearing job of the year, and the sheep here have to be shorn because the wool will start falling off in the field eventually, and the wool starts growing immediately after the shearing, and the cold stimulates the wool to grow. But because last night was cool, they put the sheep in here, and it brings up the oil and the wool. And these are they're Suffolk Cross Hampshire Downs, and they have wool out over their heads and so forth. They're slow to shear. They have wool down their legs. They were originally bred for cooler climates where they'd have a lot of wool, and they would be able to, and their lambs would be similar when they're born. The lambs would have a lot of wool. Now I have a machine here that's plugged in. When I was a kid, I used shear by hand with the hand shears, but now I've gone very modern. We got a machine, and it takes about 3 minutes to shear a sheep, sometimes 4 and sometimes 2. It could vary depending on the individual sheep. And I'll start the machine now, and the sound may not be as good. And we shear down the belly first. Shear out the belly. This is the toughest piece of wool. This is the wool they usually use for carpets because it's been worn by the sheep, and at the moment we can't sell the wool because there's no demand worldwide for wool, and the wool is sold probably for 50 pence a pound, and which is about 25 ounces, and here we'll sell it for a penny an ounce. Do the back quarter, reverse the hands in order to get at it easier without damaging the machine. Pull the sheep up and do down over her pole, because she's Hampshire down. They have a pole, and do around her eyes. Go up the neck then, go up along the neck, out by the jaw, lift out the wool. And here we go, we're opening out the fleece, and the longer the swipes you can do, the better. It's beginning to come off now nicely, and we don't want it too bare, so we don't mind a few lumps of wool being left. Roll the sheep, tighten the skin so that you don't cut the sheep. You might give them the odd nip, but that won't do them any harm. Every year I used to shear about 25,000 sheep, but now I'm pinching. I've cut back to about 5,000 or 6,000. Because when I get up every morning, my pension paid into the bank, so I don't have to go to work. Now the wool goes from here to Bradford in England, and in England it is washed and cleaned, and most of it is sent to China for making jumpers and quilts and all that. When I was a kid, we used to send it to Blarney woolen mills here many years ago, and Dripsey woolen mills, and you bring home the clothes and up clothes and blankets that would do you for the year, and that was a regular thing every year. And at that time there was a year's wages in the wool. So that's it, over and done. And Declan will roll the wool and put it into a bag and pack it down, and it'll all be sent off to Bradford. Thank you very much.
So that's it from us for this week. Hopefully in the coming weeks we'll be here in the Vietnamese woodland, because I want to talk you through some of the things that we're actually going to be planting out and give you a bit of an update as to where we're at with this what is really quite an important conservation project, but it's looking really good, and there's a lot of new growth and things coming on very well, so we're very pleased. So we'll see you in the coming weeks, and hopefully we'll see some of you in the gardens. Thanks a lot. Bye.